I think you can certainly say like this level of responsibility, Tyrese at his young age and inexperience, like we've said it before, it's his first time being a lead initiator, a lead perimeter creator on a team. He may not be ready to do this on a night-to-night basis without Joel Embiid. I think that's probably fair. Certainly doesn't help when you shoot 1 from 5 from 3 and you can't get it going inside. But also, this team as constructed might be uniquely ill-positioned to try to, play off of his strengths. Because like I said, you need shooting around them. You need decision makers around them so that they have to give at least pause of, I'm going to throw 2 defenders at the ball. Right now, there is no reason to even remotely pause to throw 2, maybe even 3 defenders at the ball. Because like I said, there's just no, outside of Kelly Oubre, there's no quick trigger 3-point shooters on his team. And a lot of times you don't want Kelly having that quick of a trigger. And there's 0 decision makers with the exception of occasionally Tobias. And he's not even a quick decision maker behind him, so that when he gets rid of the ball, you always feel like you can recover. And this is what Tyrese is going to see game after game after game. Defenses are just going to throw everything they have at him, throw 2 at the ball pretty much constantly, and dare the Sixers supporting role players to try to beat them. They just don't have anyone who's going to do it. And it might help when D'Anthony comes back. That'll help a little bit. It'll help a little bit when Batum comes back, because at the very least, he does have a relatively quick trigger on that three-pointer because you do trust his decision-making. He'll at least make the quick pass to get it to the next station and try to beat that scrambling defense. Right now, it's just Kelly Oubre putting the ball on deck, going to his left, and throwing up a prayer in traffic, and that's just not good enough when you have a 3-on-2 advantage almost every trip down. It's very, very tough to watch. And again, I think the Sixers did a lot of things in this game where you would say, like, I think the Sixers gave pretty good effort, at least up until maybe the middle of the fourth quarter when that run really went and the game got out of hand. I thought the effort was there. Like they won the second chance points battle. They won getting out in transition and fast break points. Their offense is a slog right now, and it's going to be a slog. I don't know how to rectify that. Of course, we will talk about this in the days coming up. Again, Thursday, we will have a live show at Chicken or the Egg. But man, it is tough. I don't know how we're going to get, like, let's say theoretically we've got 4 to 8 weeks of no Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Unless a star just falls and becomes available over the next couple of days, it is going to be a tough watch. And I say that knowing that I like our jobs are talking to you. We want you to be invested in this team, but I can't lie to you. This is not going to be great basketball.
This is not, especially if it's going to look like this, because again, for what we saw and what we saw Maxey trying to do, then having the questions of what needs to happen, trying to play through the contact, looking for the foul calls as well. And then having that defense shift to him the way that we talked about, that you saw it on Saturday where he finished with 20-plus points and he had some things go his way. But for the most part, he did not, because he was playing against that length of the Brooklyn Nets. They got to him. And once he got past, or seemingly got past, one defender, or at least had him on his hip, next thing you know, he's going up against Nick Claxton in that length that he has there right at the rim. And he's a very good shot blocker, doesn't really leave his feet unless he has to. And you saw that on Saturday in the loss to the Brooklyn Nets. And then here, once again, where the same thing happened, where a different type of version of Tyrese Maxey, where he did have the foul trouble, but then when he's getting in there, he's trying to get that contact. He's trying to get that body, get to the free throw line, get something going, also get the bucket where he gets the plus. And gets to the free throw line, it just wasn't there for him. And if it's not going for him, and Tobias Harris is only able to do so much, Kelly Oubre, the same thing, where is it going to come from? And that's where Nick Nurse really has to settle in and figure out what's the best style of play. He's already down 3 starters, with Embiid out. He's not coming back for a while. But with Melton getting back on the practice floor, Batum eventually maybe getting back out there as well, we may not see that, though, before the trade deadline. And that's where, again, we'll get to that later and over the coming days, maybe even during the show, as Derek talked about, maybe a star falling in their lap by Thursday. But this is going to be very difficult to watch.
And look, I like, it's one thing, Sixers have a lot of hesitant shooters, but they also just nobody really create a shot. And those 2 feet off of each other so much. Like I said, it's so easy right now to just take the ball out of Tyrese's hands and defend everyone else. And even with Tyrese, and this has been brought up, I think, a lot, and I think in some ways it's true, I think he needs a little, like that mid-range game. And I'm not a huge mid-range guy, but your stars need to have a mid-range game, and I think this one has shown why, because they once they run Maxey off the line, they know they can just load up at the rim because he's not really looking to pull up right now. And especially right now with the Sixers not having very many players he can kick it out to and play kind of like any kind of a two-man game with, they are challenging Maxey at the rim, and he's struggling. And this is a Dallas team. I think they came in the league with opponent field goal percentage at the rim. They were last in the league in defending the rim, and even that, they were able to load up. And look, some of that is just Maxey not getting a call or Maxey missing some runners or floaters or layups that he would normally make. But I think it's right now, there's just not a real, like, Maxey needs some kind of help. And it's, like I said earlier, I think it might be a year or two early in Maxey's time frame to ask him to carry an entire offense for 2 months at a time. But it's also maybe the exact wrong team to try to do that with. They're just not built to play this kind of basketball.
We all silly like the mayor.